Hey, welcome to my vlog and review for round 11 of the 2017 MotoGP season, the recently revamped Red Bull Ring in stunning Austria. And even though all those beautiful mountains in the background make me want to learn how to play the banjo, something tells me I'd be better at making moonshine. Before we even get started, I just want to say that this is one of those races that makes you fall in love with the MotoGP all over again. It was heart-pounding action from the second the lights went out until the very last corner of the race. So without further ado, let's get the lowdown on the showdown at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. And in P1, number 4, riding for the factory Ducati racing team. His friends call him Desmo Davi, but you know him as Andre Dovizioso. It's hard to sum up in words what an absolutely dazzling and dominant ride this was by the Italian rider. And as this battle between Dovizioso and Marquez got underway, you could see that the constant and intense pressure being put on the reigning world champion kept forcing him into a number of costly errors, including going wide at turn 1, as well as Marquez almost running into the back of Dovizioso going up into turn 3, but the Ducati rider, who lost out to his teammate Iannone last year, was determined not to be playing second fiddle this time round. And Danny Pedrosa, who spent the first half of the race playing catch-up, tried to join in the fun, but at the end of the day, he couldn't keep up to the blistering pace being set at the front of the race by the battling duo, and this incredible fight culminated on the very last corner of the very last lap when Dovizioso intentionally left the door wide open, knowing that Marquez wouldn't be able to resist, and with a flick of his wrist, Dovizioso takes the win and puts this one in the history books. And with this sensational win, the Italian rider jumps ahead of Vinales, claiming second place in the championship, now only 16 points behind Marquez, and I'll bet the Ducati wishes that they could race every race here in Austria, because clearly something about racing at the Red Bull Ring gave Dovizioso wings. P2, Marc Marquez. He may have been beat by Dovizioso, but the one place Marquez was strong all weekend long was through turn 6 and 7, where he repeatedly passed his Italian foe. Marquez said after the race that if he didn't go for that last corner pass, he wouldn't have been able to sleep that night. Well, I hope he got a good night's sleep, because he may have lost out in the battle for the top step of the podium, but he certainly won top honors for making this an edge-of-your-seat thriller for all the race fans out there. Most importantly, this second place finish keeps Marquez in the lead of the championship, although with a new rival in his rearview mirror, and I'm willing to bet that the next time he gets Dovizioso in his sights, he's going to be even more determined to stick the pass and take the win. P3, Danny Pedrosa. Pedrosa had a bit of a rough weekend and had to go through Q1 before qualifying down in 8th position on the grid. He spent the most part of this race trying to catch up to the leaders, and just when it seemed like he might be able to fight for the win, his grip gave out and he had to settle for 3rd place. But considering the weekend that he had, this is a good finish for Pedrosa. Most importantly, it keeps him in the championship hunt, now 35 points shy of Marquez, but only 2 points shy of Rossi in 4th place. P4, Jorge Lorenzo. The headlines of this race may have been grabbed by the battle between Dovizioso and Marquez, but Lorenzo led for almost the first half of this entire race. He shot out of the gate like a lightning bolt, jumping from 3rd to 1st, and developed over a 1-second lead in the first few laps of this race. But unlike in the past, where he's faded quickly and dropped back to 7th or 8th place, Lorenzo held on to his lead until he finally made a mistake up at turn 3 and was passed by Dovizioso and Marquez. He eventually had to concede the final podium position to Pedrosa, but it seems like that new aerodynamic fairing that he revealed back at the last race in Brno is giving the world champion a chance to fight for the podium, and I'm sure he'll be looking for another chance at it when they move to Silverstone 2 weeks from now. P5, Johann Zarco. Zarco made a big splash when he jumped up into the MotoGP and led for the first 5 laps of his very first race in Qatar. He followed that up with a number of spectacular performances, including ruffling Rossi's feathers in Texas and taking a second place finish at his home race in France. We haven't heard much from Zarco since then, but he showed up at the Red Bull Ring ready to race. Zarco sat in 5th for almost the entire race, but held off Vinales and Rossi for the entire second half of the race, which is no small feat. And this top 6 finish keeps Zarco in the lead of the Independent Championship, now 22 points ahead of his closest rival and teammate Jonas Folger. P6 and P7, Vinales and Rossi respectively. Both factory Yamaha riders making an almost identical mistake, running wide at turn 1 at different points in the race, and neither of them able to claw back any positions after they made that mistake. Yamaha really needs to get their nose to the grindstone, getting some tire life in the second half of the race if they want a chance to put a championship trophy in the hands of their young gun Vinales or their old gun Rossi for that matter. Both these riders should have been fully capable of passing Zarco and even Lorenzo in front of them, and yet neither of them were able to do it. Hopefully Yamaha is going to take the opportunity at their next test to work on this longevity problem and give both their riders a chance to fight for the championship by the end of the season. So that wraps up my vlog and review for round 11 of the 2017 MotoGP season. Don't forget the next race, August 27th at the Silverstone circuit in glorious Great Britain. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, let me know what you think, and let's look forward to more MotoGP.